Hey there guys, this is Robin Hood, and today I am bringing you another 3 versus 3 played recently in Napoleon Total War. This is going to be on the Sunken Jungle map, and once again my allies are Mykonuj and Chriseb, and our opponents here, the ones I can read is Clan Han or whatever, Orange, Nick Corbu 34, and then this guy with a bunch of random letters. Maybe it's some other language where the random letters mean something. I'm not sure. But I am facing the second guy that I read, Nick Corbu or whatever, however that was pronounced, and he's going to be playing as France, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because he brings a very distinct army, because I've actually fought him around 4 times. I fought him once in a 1v1, and then twice in 2v2 with Mykonuj, and so by the time he came now, I just knew what he was going to bring because he always brings the same army, and I've got to say it's probably one of the most difficult armies I've ever fought. That's why I brought Britain here, who has just overall, the better statistics on their foot and stuff. And he's going to have the same amount of infantry as me. That's just better anyways. You guys will see that in a second though. But I have 2 horse guards here for my cavalry. I've got a 5-inch howitzer there. I have got 5 rifle units. 2 of them are actual rifles, the other 2 are light foot, but skirmishing overall. And then obviously my general, Chris here, is also playing as Britain, and he's going to end up supporting me a lot this battle just because of the way my opponent moves. And then here is Mike playing as Austria. You can see he's going to be fighting Prussia here over on this far left. There's a French player in the middle, and then my opponent here, and his army is well, first I'm just showing you guys, we're moving up to this hilltop. It pretty much on this map, you have to run forward right away if you don't want to get caught on the downside. But this map has a bunch of these random like stone outcroppings and buildings and stuff, so it's very hard to actually get a straight line. Anywhere forward from here, I can't have a straight line. And, we're going to have to move forward. That's just where I initially moved up to. But here, my opponent has 2 units of carabiners. And these are excellent cavalry units, but my horse guards, although may not be able to win, they can definitely hold up and do a lot of damage in a fight to these guys, so I wasn't really worried about that. But over here you can see, so my guy has 2 young guard here and an infantry d'élingre. That's like a pretty much elite skirmishing unit, and then he's got 2 voltigeurs, it looks like, behind that. No, just 1. Flags overlapping there. And then over here, his skirmishing, he's got, I believe, 3 chasseurs, maybe 2. Looks like 2. Yeah, 2 of them. And right now they're in square formation. Or not square, but more of a block rather than that skirmishing formation, which, you can clearly see. That's what that looks like. For those of you who may not know, just watch these because you think it's cool, I guess. But what he does is, for some reason, he marches them up in this. Maybe it's faster or something, maybe it's just what he likes to do, and then he spreads them out when the actual engagement's about to start. But he's got a guard seaman and a young guard there, so 3 young guard in total, and then 3 old guard in the back, and his own howitzer unit. Now, all of his infantry being very elite, just does an absolute ton of damage, and the 3 old guard is really the main problem because he keeps these guys in reserve. And this map supported it. In our 1v1, it was on the pyramids map. I had a bigger army, I could just outmaneuver him, and even then it was tough because he just sent his old guard into the center, blew through it in seconds. I mean, wherever they go in, you're gonna have some problems. But the bigger numbers could help there because I managed to outflank him, and I managed to I suicided my cavalry into his old guard just to shut them up from shooting, and then I shot them down, and that pretty much ended it. But on a map like this, where there are all these little obstructions from allowing you to line up, he doesn't need to have a big front. And so as you can see here, it's just kind of a skirmish between my units, and I actually deployed stakes My reason for doing this was not any fear of cavalry, it actually provides cover. So, you know, that's going to save some of my men in this skirmish. And then, of course, if a cavalry charge does occur, I am fine there. But wherever he sends in these old guard, I'm going to have some trouble. And on this map, you know, it just really kind of favors this build. And these guys, it just takes forever to kill this army. It's surprisingly effective. You guys probably would have to fight it to quite understand, but a lot of times I don't have that much trouble fighting armies, even if they're elite armies. But the way this guy plays this one, it's always kind of given me a slight bit of trouble. I don't 100% know why. It's probably just because of the old guard in reserve. You can see here these chasseurs are firing, and they're still in their normal formation, but in a second here I do know that they do spread out, so maybe he likes to get his first shots off like that. And my men are moving forward here, taking some losses. You can see there's definitely an artillery duel going on, but this is where Chris is going to help me out a lot. I have units in the center. I'm moving some there. I am moving reserves all the way over back here. So basically my line is just kind of shifting this way because he is going to put his old guard up on this ridge, and this one unit of old guard is going to just decimate several units. But there's also two down in these woods, and the thing with old guard is they fire extremely quickly, they're very accurate, they actually do morale damage to your troops just by being near them, and their morale, they just don't rout. So that's why they are a dangerous unit. And once again, most of you guys who have played this probably know that. This is just for the people who maybe don't. Maybe some of my Shogun Total War subscribers who that was the first game they picked up. And if that's so, this game is still excellent. I highly recommend getting it. It's not that expensive now. But this here is where my line's going to end. This is where Chris's is, and you can see the rest of his troops pushed up in this choke point over here fighting the other French player. But had he not supported me with this old guard here, my opponent, you know, the skirmishing really wasn't all that helpful on this map, and it doesn't mean anything against these units. So he actually had enough troops to have an equal battle line with me, and when all of his line infantry is elite, that's pretty much just a sentence of death to me if I decide to engage that directly. And so, like I said, just giving Chris all of his due credit, because what this is going to allow me to do with Chris's units here, you know, I should have brought these units over to stall this, and that's what would have originally happened. And you can see this old guard up here. Excellent position. They're just shredding men down here. They're going to keep both this unit and this one here. But over on this flank, what's going on is I am moving forward on these guys in the trees, bringing up, you know, a reserve foot guard. I believe I may even shuffle one unit over here, but his main force is back here. He does have a young guard and two young guard over here, and his skirmishers, but the main thing is these two young guard, and with my skirmishers still here, I'm pushing forward, and I'm going to try to take these guys out. Here, I charged my horse guards forward to shut up these skirmishers, because there was a gap there, and these young guard were already firing, so they're not going to get a clean-cut volley there. Right here, getting some more of those skirmishers. And there comes the French cavalry. You can see the artillery firing in. I can't tell. That is his artillery based on where it's facing. Yep. Random horse. But this is where my main assault is going to be. This is going to be where I have to gain my ground, because I don't really have any other options besides attempting to push through the foot guard, which is not going to be the most beneficial to my army, as it would be extremely costly. But that cavalry charge there, although I did lose a horse guard, which is still fighting, this young guard had to form square, stop them from firing on a large front. My, lesser foot unit here is going to be able to shoot them down very quickly because of that. So basically here I'm putting in more cavalry just at this point in time because there is a cav engagement, trying to deal some damage in that as well. And here everything's lining up, and these guys are going to help with the cavalry fight. These guys here going to take on this young guard, and they are running extremely slowly to their position. But he is actually shooting these Lightfoot, so once these foot actually open fire, which I have no clue why they're not, they're actually doing very well. And here they randomly decide to march forward a little bit. Don't know what's up with that. My foot guards in the back shooting into the cavalry fight. Soon, this cav's going to be all gone, and I'm going to start flanking up. Here in the center, I'm just trying to successfully skirmish. He's you know, winning that. And look at this. That's one regiment dead. Second regiment almost dead here, 31 men. And these old guard, as you can tell, every single last one of them fought to the death here. And they also did some damage. And these old guard in the trees, because they have the trees, are still holding out. And looks like the one unit that fought to the death up there is back from routing and wants to join in again. But I don't know what this guy's doing now. At this point, he's shuffling his line once more, which is actually good. It seems like he's a little bit indecisive with how he wants to line up right now, which is going to allow Chris to get a ton of shots in before actually taking fire. Look at that. That one unit still has 101 left in it. That is dangerous. 46 and the other 27 should rout pretty soon. On the rest of the battle, you can see because Chris was helping over on this front, he is having some troubles in the center. This cav charge is going to catch him, and this French player is going to start doing pretty well here. But he's holding, and Mike and Huge has completely beaten the Prussian player very quickly there. You can see just kind of some of the remnants of that. So that's pretty much just fine how it ended up working out, because since Mike ended up winning pretty easily, I remember him saying, you know, his opponent wasn't one of the better ones. It's going to allow him, with his almost full army, to take up this heavily damaged French army here, and I didn't get destroyed because of 3 old guard on my flank. And here, getting some melee charges from the young guard in the center, kind of a desperate act there, trying to bust through as I am breaking through this flank. You can see this firefight still going on. All these young guard lie dead here. And Guard Seamen have moved up now. So this unit wasn't there earlier, so now I have to try to fight through these guys, which I was doing a good job of. You know, I'm moving more men up. Those are my 88th foot. I've got foot guards and a foot unit firing in. All my skirmishers at this point are dead. We got some good shots in on these guys, and they're going to pull back. And over here, my foot guards are charging in the center into his chasseurs, and they're not going to stand that. My artillery is still firing at that, but at this point, I do have a force yet left. I mean, not an incredibly strong one, but we won. So that's all well and good. And at this point, obviously, our option is pretty much, you know, what we have to do, move forward, try to take out this artillery, which is firing canister shot into us. That's never fun. So we're going to start lining up, shooting some of these guys in the back. There comes a volley. These guys are going to start dropping pretty quickly. There's not going to be anything left for them to do. And there they go. Okay. It was because I do have a wireless headset and it was beeping, which means it's going to die soon. So I just plugged it in quickly, but I didn't want a strange lapse of both commentary and movement as I did that, because, you know, we don't want the mic to die. We're idle, don't know whether you guys care or not, but if my mic died, then at that point, what would happen is I would continue commentating without knowing that my mic had died, and yeah, I would not have been happy when I checked the video in the end. But at this point, these guard seamen and this guy's general here, they're going to run off this way along this road, and they're going to come way over here and end up making a final stand, like right about here actually. So they're going to run a long ways. Chris, all he really has left is these hussars. He may have another cav unit. Yeah, this here is his general. I've still got my artillery, and what was that? He's still got his artillery, which is about to be taken out by, or maybe already was. Nope, he doesn't have it. It's off of its guns. This old guard pushed it out. Yep, from right there. And let us see. This here is the last charge of foot guards. Didn't make it to the line, sadly. But after my battle, you can see here I'm putting a foot unit to just kind of stall all of this for the moment. And what I've got left is what you can see lining up here. So 4 units, 5 in total with that one. These guys are going to go down here in just a second though. But they've got a good position, and they're going to hold for a little bit against these French. I've got a young guard and 2 Polish, or just 1 actually. It seems advancing against me, and there's a guard seaman back here. I can't remember if they reinforce or not, but in the end we end up killing them. You can see Chris's whole army here. He's still got a ton of spare troops. He could really just charge at this point and wrap this up, but there's just these skirmishers here fighting him, and then this 1 old guard unit back here moving around on his flank to go for his artillery. It looks like he has artillery set to fire on these guys. They are marching forward. Meanwhile, my opponent's units once again running through here. That is Chris's unit just firing some shots at them. So he's just kind of giving them a rough time as they try to run away. Here my unit, you can see, has been in this fight. Can barely even... Is this feature... Oh yes, I remember. This feature is in Napoleon. It's just nowhere near as smooth as it was in Shogun. Because right now I'm running at 80 frames per second, and when I do that it drops to 12. In Shogun they refined it, and there's no difference at all. So here comes the rest of my units coming over now. My general moving behind this little hillside. What is this? Is that Chris's general actually? Yeah, I was like, I don't remember doing that. Here's my general. There's my howitzers moving into a new position. You can see the remnants of this battlefield. No one really died back here except for my general's men, randomly, I guess. Maybe an artillery shot. Over here, this was where the battle was really won, by pushing around this flank, compromising that through those trees. And now we're moving forward over here. There's young guard right there. I don't know why Chris's general is kind of right in the way. There we go. Now it's moving. We're just charging. Well, I guess that happened because I'm watching it, so I do not recall that, but looks like it's a good thing because my men are just shooting into this and killing them and not taking return fire. And considering Chris did this, he had pretty much, resigned his general to die, which isn't that big of a deal considering he doesn't really have any units left. Artillery just falling short. Those guards seem to, so they are going to join into this fight. And now what's left of these young guard is going to charge. It's hard to see because of the brush, but they're taking losses along the way, and there they go. This would be an awful place to fight in. Look at that. there once again. You can see I just kind of have this arc of fire, and these guard seamen here, they don't want any part of it, so they're gonna back off after taking a few losses from some stray rounds. And I'm gonna start pushing forward once again. British general taking out this artillery, which I guess Chris remanned. And at this point, the other French general is fighting my general. And my general, I just inspired myself, so he is winning because he had 14 men against a full general unit, and now they're tied at 11, but this guy's just going to pull off. He wants my artillery gone, and I am going to limber them up right now because artillery is invincible while limbering up. And I actually believe I did that on accident, because I just wanted to move them forward, but my artillery really didn't do much of anything this battle. They were just kind of there. And now that my artillery is limbered up, though, when they do die, everyone dies. But at this point, they're not going to be much of a help. So you can see my general fighting, and here comes the other French general, killing off more artillery. And my general is actually going to hold out against both of these French generals here, killing the one in a second. I had these guys turned back just because those generals were there. I didn't know what they were going to do. You can see that's my opponent's guard seamen finally made it over from their long trek around these guys here. So those are the last two real units on the field. Aside from this old guard is still just kind of running around over here. Looks like they took some more losses. Don't know doing what, but my army's going to move forward once again, and we'll speed this up.
Glorious victories, huh?
Look at these guys running across, getting an awful flank volley there. And about to get two more. Yeah, that did not help them at all. And you can tell because they're going to rout, and my opponent's going to try to hide in these trees. And I don't know if his goal was to win or just take as many of us with him as he could by, being in the trees and getting off that first volley or something. But I'm pretty sure his men are just going to rout. And at this point, these men are going to go take care of that. I have this unit of foot guards lining up on the flank because this old guard moved in, and there's one skirmishing unit here as well, but as you can see, we've kind of got them in an arc of fire. That's pretty much going to be the end of it.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
Was that them? Are you the men who just used all of your ammunition? It would seem so. Yeah, so I don't remember if I had these guys charge or not. That old guard's charging. Back here, these guys end up just routing, I guess? Or is that the one I already routed? Either way, we're gonna find those men. And yeah, at this point, everyone does charge in. So, melee fight to end the battle against Old Guard. So they are going to do quite a bit of damage before they go. My foot guards being there now. Of course, he's got some elite units, and then you can see the French general backing up. These guys firing in from the back, at this point, he doesn't really stand a chance. So Old Guard are about to rout. And obviously the rest of my units running in, yeah, everything. Charging in there. And looks like we did in fact clear the trees. So that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed that battle. You can see there our stats. Chris here, losing the most of anyone, well, yeah, actually anyone, but even though he didn't kill a lot, he probably is the one that won us the battle. Because what would have happened is, had my my left flank fallen to those 3 old guard, my army would have been wrapped up and destroyed. That guy would have had a lot of very elite units left. Chris would have been fighting his guy. Whether he won or lost, he'd have to fight all those elite units, and at that point, he'd probably lose. And then Mike might have 3 opponents against him. So, very good job to Chris there. You can see all the rest of it. Foot guards doing the best out of all of that. And hope you guys enjoyed that battle. Good game to our opponents. And I will see you all next time.